Anthony Todd, after his father was sentenced to prison for his part in the murder for hire of his wife, became exactly like the community he would end up living in. A nice and friendly facade of the all-American dream that covers a much darker, dangerous truth. If you were to ask anyone who knew Tony growing up, he was simply amazing. In high school, he was described by his teachers and peers as good-natured and friendly, without a mean bone in his body. He never had any issues with anyone, and always had time to tutor and help his classmates. And he was on the honor roll. He was incredibly well-mannered. Peers loved him too. So much that in his junior and senior years of high school, he was voted to be class president. He wasn't just great in school though. He was also a fantastic soccer player and went on to play all 4 years. He seemed like the all-American boy, the kid next door who always wanted to help, worked hard and treated everyone with respect. The kid that everyone came easily to and always wanted to do what's right. He seemed perfect, and not at all like he'd been traumatized by his father's actions. At the end of his senior year, he was voted most likely to succeed by his classmates, and to everyone else around him, it would seem that that was the case. But Tony didn't do that all on his own. In high school, he met the woman who he would later marry and start his family with, Megan. And just like Tony, Megan was truly beloved by her community. Tony was a people person who was always in the spotlight, be it for sports, student government, academics, and more. But Megan was a calmer presence, someone who perfectly balanced Tony, the yin to his yang. Through interviews with their peers, it seemed that Tony was a bit more boisterous in his life, always humble bragging about his accomplishments, whereas Megan was much easier to talk to, always willing to lend an ear and help you with whatever you had going on. She was just as accomplished as Tony, equally as popular, and had a real musical talent. However, she was much more known for how she made people feel. Her peers would describe her as calming and positive, someone they would look to in times of stress. She would ease her friends' worries with a look or a smile and never ask for anything in return. Friends found her nurturing and motherly and felt like any issue they had could be resolved through talking to her. When Megan and Tony got together, everyone saw them as the perfect couple. They complemented each other very well, with Megan's quiet, calming presence offsetting Tony's more boisterous antics, and vice versa. They would communicate in a way that was unlike so many young couples, with them being open and honest with each other, trusting one another completely, which is why, unlike many high school couples, Tony and Megan made their relationship work throughout the years, with them deciding to go to college together and later get married. In college, the couple continued their reputation for being perfect, with multiple classmates citing them as being an amazing couple. One classmate in particular recalled the feeling that they had it all figured out, and how calming it was to be around them, especially when they were going through their own crises. When Tony and Megan graduated, they decided to open a chiropractic clinic in Colchester, Connecticut, called Family Physical Therapy. Through this clinic, Tony gained an even greater reputation in his community than he had in high school and college. People would come to their clinic stressed after months of going to various specialists who didn't know exactly what was wrong with them, spending thousands of dollars in the process,